So we will just start with the course outcomes. COs are major domain-specific outcomes written using action verb. That is very important. When we write a CO, we should use an action verb from the Bloom's taxonomy levels, which are specific, measurable, and can be demonstrated by students on completion of the course. So that is how we design the COs. Just give you an example. This is actually the template for writing the course outcomes. You have to start with the action verb, the content or a topic to be learned, and the context. Okay, this is actually a course outcome of one of my courses, graph theory. I'm teaching graph theory for computer science students. Okay, so this is one of my CO. I'll start with apply, that is action verb. Apply graph representations and algorithms in computer science, that is the context. So the student should be able to apply graph theory in computer science after the completion of the course. So this is how we used to design the course outcomes. Okay. Then these are some examples. I think already you have gone through this section. So I'll quickly go through the slides. And now you know how to check the quality of a good outcome. Already there is a task in the LMS. I hope you have done all these tasks. Okay. Now coming to the mapping process. So in OBE, we have two levels of mapping. Level 1 is CO2 PO mapping or CO2 PSO mapping. If you have both PO and PSO, CO2 PO mapping and CO2 PSO mapping is level 1. Okay. Then the level 2 mapping, that means each and every activities or assessments we used to conduct for the course, that we have to map with the respective course outcomes. So if you have n number of COs, or if you have 5 or 6 course outcomes, all these activities which we conduct during the semester, that can be mapped with the different COs, and the assessments also we can map with the different COs. Okay, we will discuss this with an example. Now, when we go for the assessment in OBE for attainment calculation, the final assessment is done by the estimation of program outcome and program specific outcomes, which will serve as a profile of the student's competencies. That means once if we calculate the POs and PSOs for a particular student, that can also act as the profile of the student. POs and PSOs are estimated from the component of COs related to the respective POs and PSOs. See, for example, every CO will be mapping with the different POs and different PSOs also. So once if we calculate the COs, automatically we can calculate the value of the attainment of POs and PSOs, because already that mapping is done. So that is the way we can calculate the attainment of POs and PSOs. COs are estimated from the component learning outcome of the activity related to the course. So the first step in this process is to determine the mapping of the related components and determining the strength of mapping between lower order and higher order outcomes. Lower order outcomes means the COs. Higher order outcomes means the POs and the PSOs. Now, for this mapping purpose, we can use a mapping scale. This is a standardized mapping scale for outcome-based education. See, for example, if there is no relationship between a particular question, if you are conducting an exam, maybe your question paper consists of maybe 10 questions or 15 questions or 20 questions. Each of these questions you will be mapping with the respective COs, course outcomes. And if there is no relationship between a particular question and a CO, the weightage of the mapping is 0. That means it's a nil relationship. And if low relationship between a question and a CO, you can give weightage 1. And if it is moderate relationship, you can give a weightage 2. And if it is significant relationship, we can give a weightage of 3. So this is the way we can map the assessments questions with the COs. And the percentage of attainment, that we will discuss later when we calculate the attainment. So we will start with an example. Okay. For a course outcome, we know there should be an action verb. It start with an action verb, and there is a learning domain. And if it is an activity like an assignment or a seminar or a question, again the question we will start with an action verb. Again from Bloom's taxonomy, and there is the learning statement. Okay, so we can see the similarity between a question and a CU. A question, you'll start with an action verb. So if it is a Romer level question, we will start with the what is or define something. Or if it is an understand level question, we will start with yes plain, yes plain in your own words or something like that. So again, it start with an action verb. So every question, if you want to frame by using Bloom's taxonomy, it should start with an action verb. Okay. The same way with the course outcomes, as we have seen some examples. The same way, the course outcome also start with an action verb, and there is a learning domain after that. Okay. Now, we will discuss with an example so that you can understand it easily. Suppose I have a course outcome for the course or the section called Bloom's taxonomy. The first day of this FTP, you had a section on Bloom's taxonomy. So for that particular section, if there is a course outcome like this, on completion of this course, the participants will be able to apply the Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. So we had a wonderful section on Bloom's taxonomy by Dr. Sunil Jha, which has given some examples. Sorry. And there were discussions so that every participant may be thorough with the concept of Bloom's taxonomy. Now, the course outcome means every participant should apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing questions. Okay. So can anybody say which level of CO is this? We have written a CO here. What is the level of this course outcome according to Bloom's taxonomy? Sorry. You can put it in the chat box. I'm asking about this particular course outcome. What is the level of this course outcome according to Bloom's taxonomy? Level 3. Okay, okay. Okay, it is level 3. Yeah, fine. So the level of the taxonomy is, 3. That means it's an apply level CU. Now, this is my first question in the question paper. If I want to conduct an exam. See, now, after the section, I want to know whether all the participants have attained this outcome. So for that purpose, as teacher, what we will do, we will conduct an assessment. Suppose we will conduct an exam. So this is an exam, and this is my first question. Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. So what is the level of this question? Explain the level of, so explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level. What is the level of this question? Anybody? Able to understand. Okay. Okay. So many has answered. No? Okay. So it is understand level. Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive domain. Can a student memorize the concept and write the exam? If I'm asking a question like this, is it possible that a student can memorize the concept and write the exam? Okay, that is possible. No? Explain the different levels of learning in cognitive domain means there are 6 levels. So any student can just memorize it, like remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluate, and um, the last one is create. Okay, so it can be a rumor level question. Otherwise, if he is explaining in his own words with some examples, for example, see, remembering level, uh, he's explaining what it is, and if he's trying to give some examples, then it can be an understand level. Okay, so that means this question can be of the K1 level, remembering level. Otherwise, we have to ask like this, explain the different levels of learning in cognitive level and give some examples also. Definitely, it can be an understanding level. Okay. Now, my course outcome is apply level, K3. Okay. I'm trying to assess the student whether the student has attained this course outcome. Okay, that is my goal. And for that purpose, now I am asking a question for the exam, and this is level 1. My question is level 1. Okay, to give you some insights, uh, if the student is getting 100% mark for this particular question, okay, can I assume that the student has attained this outcome? What is your opinion? If the student is getting 100% mark for this particular question, and what about the question level attainment? Can I say that the student has attained this outcome, or can I assume like that? Okay. What is your answer? Okay. No. Yeah. I'll share in a different method. I cannot see the chat. I'll try. Okay. Okay. So that is correct. What you said is correct. We cannot say that the student has attained this outcome. If I'm asking a question like this is a K1 level 1 question, and my course outcome is of level 3. Okay. Now, if I want to map this question, this particular question, with the CO, the CO is of level 3, and my question is of level 1. What should be the mapping strength? We are using a 4-point scale. 0 if there is nil relationship, 1, 2, and 3. 3 if it is significant relationship. So what should be the mapping strength? 0, 1, 2, or 3? Any idea? 1. Okay, it's correct. Weight 0 means if there is no relationship at all, because this CO is anyway related to Bloom's taxonomy. It's apply level CO. It's okay, fine. And our question is also related to Bloom's taxonomy. So in that case, definitely there is some relationship. So we can say uh, uh, you can give one the value 1. Okay, not 0. Yeah, now it's fine. I hope all of you understood the concept. This is the way we have to map the the course outcomes, the questions with the course outcomes. Now my second question, using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in your subject. This is another question. Second question in my question paper. Here also my objective is whether the participants have attained the outcome. I hope my screen is not visible. Just 1 minute. I will share again. Okay, so this is my second question. Using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in your subject. So what is the level of this question? Anybody? Using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in your subject. What is the level of this question? Applied. Yeah. So we are asking the student to apply Bloom's taxonomy in framing an analyze level question. Okay, the question should be analyze level, but using Bloom's taxonomy, the participants has to frame the questions. That means again applying. It's not analyzing, it's applying. But the person has to frame a question on the apply level. Okay. So this is an apply level question. Okay. Then we have the CO, the course outcome, which is of apply level, and the question is also of apply level. That means if the student get 100% mark for this particular question, then can I assume that based on this question, there is full attainment for the CO? Is it correct? What is your opinion? Yeah. So that means the level of the CO and the level of the question are same. Okay. So what about the mapping then? What should be the mapping? This question mapped with that CO? Yeah, of course. It is level 3. Significant mapping. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, that's fine. Now, I have the third question. I'll show you the third question. My third question is this one. Analyze the given set of 25 questions of your course based on Bloom's taxonomy. That means you are given a set of 25 questions. A set of 25 questions of your course. And you have to analyze each and every question. You have to go through each and every question and analyze whether those questions belong to K1 or K2 or etc. K6. So you have to classify the questions into different taxonomy levels. And this is one of the tasks provided the first day, your question paper analysis. That is an Excel sheet. I think you might have done it. Okay. So what is the level of this question? You have to analyze your question paper and uh, check whether each question belongs to which category. So what is the level of this question? Okay. Yeah. It's only analyze level. Just we are analyzing it. Okay. So this is K4. It's okay, fine. Now, uh, what should be the mapping strength? My course outcome is apply level, and my question is analyze. And I have to map this analyze level question to the apply level CO. 3. Okay. Yes, it is correct. Because analyze is a higher order than apply level. Okay, it's correct. So the mapping strength is 3. That means if the student is getting 100% mark for this particular question, we can say that full attainment of this outcome with respect to that question. Now, according to the philosophy of OBE, once if you design the outcome for a particular course, as a faculty, our goal is attain the outcome by the students. For that purpose, we conduct teaching learning activities, different types of teaching learning activities, and finally, we have the semester exam. And in between also, we have the continuous assessment. And the assessment is to check whether the students have attained that outcome. Okay. Now we have designed an outcome that is of apply level, that means level 3, and we are asking a question of level 4. Just to understand your opinion, is it relevant to ask a higher order question for a low order CU? What is your opinion? Okay, we can ask. My question is, your CO is apply level. Now you are asking a question on analyze level, or you can also ask a question on evaluate level likewise. Okay. Definitely, you can ask a question like that. It is correct. You can ask a question like that. My question is, if you're teaching the students, if you're delivering the course in such a way that the students are able to analyze or able to evaluate something, or even if they are able to create something, then why you have fixed your CEO on the lower level? Is it meaningful to fix a lower order CEO, and in the same module or in the same course you are teaching the students to for the analyze level or evaluate level of uh, knowledge? Okay. So in the most of the universities where we visit and we had discussions, most of the cases now, the course outcomes, at least in some cases, they have designed in the low order. But the same module, I think you have discussed how to design the COs. You can design the COs horizontally or vertically. Horizontally means if you have 5 modules or 5 units in your syllabus, each module or each unit you can have COs. That is the horizontal way of designing the COs. Otherwise, for the entire syllabus, we can have say 4 or 5 COs. Okay, so that the CEOs may be interlinked between the units or modules. So the two methods are there to design the CEO. Both are correct. And in particular, some courses you need to have the vertical way of CEO designing. Otherwise, you can go for the module wise or unit wise design of CEOs. And if you go by module wise or horizontal, that will be more convenient for attainment calculation and for mapping. Both are correct. Okay. Suppose in one module, if you are teaching the student to apply a concept, the same module you're teaching them to apply the concept, and if you're designing the CEO on the understand level, so you're fixing a benchmark like this. So what is the need of teaching the student in the apply level? So your CEO should be the benchmark. Okay. So whenever you design a CEO, uh, fits it in the higher level. Higher level means if you're teaching the student to analyze something, you put in the analyze level CEO. Okay. Then there is an argument like every student may not be able to attain that CEO. It is correct. Every student may not be able to attain that CEO. So in that case, you can ask lower order questions in that particular for uh, that particular module. And these lower order questions you can map with the CEOs also. And you will be fixing a target for the CEO. See, for example, if you're conducting an exam for a particular course, you will fix a maximum mark, like 100 marks is a maximum, or in some other case, 50 marks is a maximum. And we are not expecting that every student is getting 100% mark. In that case, you have a pass mark, like 40% or 50% or 60%. That is a pass mark for a particular course. The same way, we can have a target for the entire batch for the CEO, for a particular CEO. Suppose we have this particular CEO that is of apply level, and we are not expecting that everybody will be attaining that CEO. So we'll be fixing a target like 60% or a 70%, so that we can say 60% or 70% of the students in the batch will attain again 60% or 70% uh, of that particular CO. Okay, so in that way we can go for the attainment calculation. Okay. So in this case, um, just for providing you some insights on design of CEOs and mapping. So if you're asking a higher order question for a low order CEO, definitely the next time you have to redesign the CEOs, the higher order. So the same way, I have given some more examples. Again, this is another CEO. On completion of this course, the participants will be able to analyze the questions based on Bloom's taxonomy levels. So we can ask a question like, what are the different levels of learning and cognitive level? Again, it is a K1. So level 1 to level 4. So we can map this level 1 question to level 4 CO. Again, you can give 1 because there is some relationship between this question and the CO. The same way, using Bloom's taxonomy, prepare an analyze level question in your subject. That is an apply level question. This is a level 3 question. Level 3 question, you can map with the level 4 CO. You can give, say, 2 in that case because your question is one level less than the CO. Level of CO is 4, level of question is 3. So that your question is one level less than the CO. So you can give 2 in that case. So this is a way we can map these questions, assessments with the CEOs. The same way we can map assignments or seminars or any other assessments with the CEOs. So you can look at the cognitive challenge of that particular assessment activity. The assignment for assignment and seminars, you can definitely go for higher order taxonomy levels. So you can just look at the cognitive challenge of that assignment and the level of the CEO. So you can map assessments again with that. I hope this is clear. If you have any clarification, we will 5 minutes, and after that we will go for the COPO mapping. Any questions you can put in the chat box. Otherwise, we will go for the COPO mapping. It's very simple. Look at the level of the CO, look at the level of the question, and you can check the relationship. So if you are using a 4-point scale, a CO should be measurable and definitely a CO should be measurable and observable. That is the definition of the CO itself. It is there. No? That is why it should start with an action verb from Bloom taxonomy. Or otherwise, we can say that a CO is a glorified question. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I hope it is clear. Then, okay. This is analyze. Yeah. It is measurable, no? Definitely. Analyze type of questions are measurable. See, for example, if you ask the student, even your question paper analysis, that is measurable. You can analyze each and every questions based on stats on levels, and you will get a answer. Or you can ask the student to analyze between VAT and GST. You cannot ask, maybe it's difficult to ask that question for the subsequent exam, but as an assignment you can give, analyze the VAT and GST. VAT is the previous system, GST is the new system, that way. Okay. So we'll continue with, okay, one more question in the last section. Where students were asked to do some tasks which were of higher knowledge level. How do we explain that, as we cannot set a very high K level for undergraduate students? We explain that as we asked to do some tasks which were of higher knowledge level. How do we explain that, as we cannot set a very high K level for undergraduate level? Definitely we can set a high K level for undergraduate. See, that depends on the course. For example, my subject is mathematics. So in most of my courses, mathematics courses, you cannot set a CO on the create level or even evaluate level. It's not possible. But maybe for some subjects or courses like literature, some humanities subjects, even you can go up to create level. Okay, that depends on the course. And in a course, again, in a course, we may have different modules and different units. See, for example, in one unit, you are teaching something. And if the students are able to apply the concept after going through that module, definitely you can fix an apply level CO in that case. In one of the colleges in Tamil Nadu, when I conducted a section, there is a course called food technology. The first module itself, the students are learning how to prepare a particular type of food. Okay, but they have designed the CO on the understand level only. Then after the discussion, they have redesigned the CO, the apply level, because the students are studying, how to prepare the food. So that means they're actually applying it. After understanding, they're applying it, really applying. So that depends on your course and the module. What are the cognitive challenges? There is thumb rule that we need to confine to K3 for UG level students. Most of the cases, sir, it is possible only up to apply level for UG level. But maybe in some cases, that also depends on the particular course. In some cases, you can go up to analyze level. Yeah. How can we identify changes in course outcomes when dealing with a group of heterogeneous students with varying levels of knowledge? No. CO we are fixing based on your subject. Not you are not looking at the students, because already we have designed the syllabus. Actually, the philosophy of OB is different. You have to design the COs first. So if it is an undergraduate student, you have to fix the COs accordingly. And based on the COs only, you have to design the syllabus. But in India, most of the universities, the reverse is happening, because we are designing the syllabus, then we are designing the COs. So once you have designed the syllabus, uh, based, looking at the syllabus, you can understand what would be the outcome. That is what I mentioned earlier. Each module or each unit you can go through, and uh, you are teaching the course, no? So you know what are the teaching learning activities, and you know what are the outcome, what should be the outcome after going through that module. So in that way, you can set the CO, and that does not depend on the varying levels of knowledge of the students actually, because as I mentioned earlier, we are not expecting that every student is attaining 100% the outcome. That is why we are fixing a target. That tomorrow we will discuss about that target when we calculate the attainment. So then it may be more clear to you. Okay. Now we will just go through that mapping of COPO. After that, we will answer the questions. Otherwise, our time will be is limited now. So this is how we can map the outcomes. So after the mapping process, we'll get a table like this. You can see uh, there are around 15 questions. It's only example. Then suppose there are 5 COs, each question mapped with a different COs with a different mapping strengths. This is only an example. Okay. So this is what we will get after mapping each um question with the different COs. Then the COPO mapping. This is the level 1 mapping. Already I have mentioned it earlier. Now, our PO means it's based on a graduate attributes. Suppose we have a graduate attribute like communication skills. So how we will write the PO? The communication skills, you can identify the different competencies related to communication skills, like read, write, speak, comprehend, or use modern technologies for a communication purpose. So we can identify different competencies related to that graduate attribute. Similarly, for every graduate attribute, you can identify the competencies related to that graduate attribute. So for every PO, you have the competencies listed. Okay. Now, coming to the course outcome, already we have discussed the course outcome. It will start with an action verb and there is a learning statement. Okay. Now, if you are mapping a CO, suppose CO1 with the PO1, then you have to check how many of the competencies of that PO1 are addressed by this particular CO. Based on that, we can map. If more than 40% of the competencies are addressed by that CO. For example, if there are 5 competencies for a particular PO, that means 40% means 2. So out of these 5 competencies, if 2 of the competencies are addressed by a particular CO, you can give the highest mapping. That means 3. Or between 25% and 40%, you can give 2. Between 5% and 25%, you can give 1. Or if it is less than 5%, you can give 0. So this is actually the process. But as a faculty member, with your experience, you can do it without much difficulty. See, it's just like a paper valuation. So for the first of 10 answer papers, you need maybe 1 hour or more than 1 hour for the valuation purpose. And the remaining 50 or 60 papers, you will do it in 1 or 2 hours. The same way, it's only in the beginning you may find some difficulty. So this is the process. This is the philosophy of COPO mapping. But with experience, looking at the CO and PO, you can give them mapping strength. That is not a big problem. And even if there is a slight difference or in the mapping, that will not affect much in the calculation of attainment, because when we implement OB in a full sync, in a proper way, you need n number of activities. You need more activities so that minor variations in the mapping will not affect your attainment calculation. Okay, so this is the way we can map the COs with the POs. The same way COs with the PSOs also. This is an example, the table after mapping process. So we have 5 course outcomes here. 5 course outcomes you can see, 9 POs. So these are only an example. Okay, you don't look at the values. So you'll get a table like this. The same way we can map COs with the PSOs if you have PSOs. In some of the institutions only you have POs. If you have PSOs again, the CO PSO mapping you can do like this. Okay, so this is the process.